So there's activism, which might be showing up at a school board meeting where there's a really important issue, or that there's a more mass protest. We had a lot of mass protests through the last 3 years. And then there's being a member, like joining others in a joint project. Will you just talk about the overlap or the difference between being an activist or showing up for events and becoming a member of an organization?
Yeah, I think critical to this transition is like moving us from just the kind of hyper individualized way that we often function and operate to a collectivized sense of we, right? From a kind of get mine way that we're taught and forced in a lot of senses to operate, to a share ours, right? So yeah, being a member is like, okay, it's not just my voice that matters here. It's not just me showing up and being a body ever on the lines, but that I'm a part of a unit, part of a crew, a part of a pod, a part of a squad, a family, a community. Those are really important units of organization. And so being a member of a unit of organization will allow you to strengthen a muscle or muscles that this system tries to atrophy in us. Yeah. So that's really crucial.
Great. I think it's not always obvious, and it just feels so important. And I feel like you are so embodied in that we organize as a we. Who's your next circle or crew? And again, just because we share somatics, when we look at that deep need for belonging and how much trauma and oppression interrupt that, but then how we'll keep looking for the solution to it individualistically. And it's the wrong solution, because that's where the train keeps driving us, right? The train of capitalism, that's where it keeps driving us when we're just longing for we in collectivity. So I just appreciate it's like, find your crew, find your squad, join, become a member of an organization, go to the meetings, whether on Zoom or in person, join a committee that's right organizing towards something. And there's, as you said, there's plenty of places. If someone was, obviously we're both in the San Francisco Bay Area. If someone was looking, it's like, okay, where in my community, where in my county, where in my region can I find the organizations? What would you suggest?
Well, that's a great question. It's so different for different places. But I think, following the stories of your place and, looking at who's organizing, who's calling other people in to work on an issue that, is important to that community. I feel like there's pretty clear networks. The things, some of the organizations that I named are national in scope, but like really translocal. So they have chapters or, local manifestations of them. But I want to emphasize that those are not the only, and, there's, I think, organizations that sprout from the ground and from those local conditions and aren't necessarily tied to some national formation are really critical and important to join and to find. And you'll often, you go to, it may be that you just turn out to a march or a protest or some other kind of event that you see happening, and you talk to folks and you just find out, network with people and hear like, what are they working on and who do they know that's working on some of the things that are important to you? I think that, that kind of just human connection in the community is probably the best way to find your squad and find who you resonate with or where you're going to find belonging.
That's beautiful. I was also thinking in the, you brought this up in the beginning about that principle of we and self-governing. And then I think about it's like you did it very beautifully at the beginning of this call. It's like, whose land are you on? Right? Like looking at what are the original peoples, what unceded territory are you on, and what's happening around that?